This is not anyway.
Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing an acrylic soak off, and if you clicked on this video from the title, then that is exactly what you're wanting to learn. So my nails have grown out significantly. I've done multiple fill-ins on these nails, and they are lifting from the front, they're lifting from the side, and it's just time to take it off when that happens, because even if I file, even if I drill it off, there's always going to be that opening, and we don't want any moisture or any fungus to grow under the nails, so it's just time to take them off. The first thing I'm going to do is get my extra coarse bit. I'm going to rev up my drill all the way until 35 or 32, however high it goes, and I'm going to start to remove and debulk all of the product that I have on my nails. Now, I have this beautiful nail art that I'm so sad to see go, because this was my favorite nail set and I got so many compliments on it. But this is like 3 layers of white gel polish. It has foil gel glue on there because the nail art is foil. It has gold foil as well encapsulated. So it's a lot of product. And an extra coarse bit, it's what's going to get all that product off as you see, and it's also just going to take all that acrylic down. My apex is pretty thick, especially with the almond shape that I wear. It's usually pretty thick. I like my nails thick because I'm really rough on my nails, and I just make sure that I build a good apex. If you want to learn how to build a good apex, I have linked my apex building video, which is pretty extensive and it goes into detail on how to build your apex. I have linked it below. So here I'm just going to fast forward because I'm just shortening and debulking all of the product, or not all of the product, but at least 90% of the product. I don't want to hit my natural nail with this bit. I've been doing nails for over 12 years and I'm very trained on how to use an e-file, so I can run my e-file that fast and not hurt myself. I do not recommend that for anybody who's starting out. I just want to stress that. But right now, I want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified when I have more nail content. And let me know what videos you want to see down below, and I'll make a tutorial about that. But let's get into the soak off. You're going to want to start off with some hot, not boiling hot, but warm water in a glass bowl. Or it could be plastic as well. It doesn't matter. I choose to use glass because that's what I'm most comfortable with. Or ceramic is good too. Get a sandwich bag and pour a little bit of acetone in it, like a shot of acetone. Then you want to put your hand in there. The amount of acetone you put in there should only be about worth of the bag, only enough for your fingertips to fit in there. And then you want to just soak your nails in that warm water and the acetone. The acetone's not going to eat through the bag. The acetone and the water are not going to mix, because you can seal them while your hand is in there, and it really helps with the fumes and the smell to be sealed inside the bag. So as you can see, most of the product is already lifted. Okay, so now I'm going to take my metal cuticle pusher and I'm going to scrape the product downward. And it's important to scrape downward because that's the direction that your nail grows. If you scrape upwards, you're going to cause damage to your nail plate, and it's going to be very, very uncomfortable for you, or if you're doing this on a client. It is much easier to do this on the client than it is to do it on yourself. This is also a good point to note right now that this is not MMA. If it was MMA, it would be sticky, it would be gummy, it would not be coming off this easily. You see how it's just a sliding off when I push it down with the cuticle pusher, and I'm not applying that much pressure. Okay, but you can clearly see it was time to take these nails off. I use a lot of turmeric in my cooking. That's why my nails are yellow the way that they are. So it was definitely time to take these off. Again, it is not difficult, but it is not hard for me. And it is important to drill off most of the product with your drill bit so that it is easy to take it off. If you notice that you have more product or you didn't take off as much, all you have to do is scrape it off, put it back in the acetone, and then repeat the process over again until you remove most of the product. And we're pretty much done here at this point when it comes to the acetone. And since I have it in the Ziploc bag, it's gonna be really easy to dispose of it and not smell everything up. I usually put it in something like a grocery bag and I dispose of it outside somewhere, like in the trash bin outside. I definitely don't leave chemical lingering around in my workspace area. So as you can see, most of the product is off, and all I did was spray with alcohol. I forgot to film that part. But yeah, I sprayed with alcohol, wiped my nails down to get all the extra residue off my nails. Now I'm going to trim my nails so that they match the other hand. And I'm going to be doing some filing as well. And then I'm just going to overlay it with a rubber base. You can see that my other hand is already done, but I'm not really cutting that much. I want to retain my length. My nails are pretty healthy after the soak off. And this is why I stress so much to do fills and only do soak off so often, because you're not prepping the same part of the nail over and over again. You're just prepping the new growth and it allows for your nails to grow out healthy. Now, here I'm cutting off a piece that already started to snag in my hair. And that was another reason why I know I needed to do a soak off, because my nails were cracking from underneath the nail. They were snagging in the hair, they were snagging on my clothes, and they were just starting to separate from the acrylic. Now, the reason why that happens is because your nails absorb water, right? So every time they absorb water, they expand, and every time they dry, they contract back to its regular size. The acrylic, however, is not that flexible. So after it does it so many times, it's going to separate from the nail. Now I'm just filing here to shape it the way I want to shape it. I know I'm going to do an overlay, and that's why I'm using a rougher file. But if I was just going to leave my natural nails, I would be using a very, very fine emery board or a glass nail file to file my natural nails. Here I'm just measuring to make sure it's the same, because again, I'm still going to be doing a little bit more filing after this as well. And I don't know if you can tell here or not, but there is still a little bit of product left on my nails. And in the next step, I'm going to explain why I did that. So here I am pushing the cuticle back because I am going to get my nail ready to do another service, right? Whether it's regular polish, whether it's gel polish, whether it's rubber base, whether it's another acrylic set, or even if you're just going to leave your nails natural, you want to do some light prepping. Now, it's important to note right here, if you observe closely, that I am not touching the nail plate. I'm just pushing back the cuticle with my drill bit. Okay. And you can tell that I'm not touching the nail plate, but because you can see the white marks on my nail where the acrylic was before. So right now, I really just want to focus on gently pushing the cuticle back. My cuticles are very dry right now because they've been in acetone. So you really, really want to be careful with this step. And here's a close up. You can see that the top of the nail still has the mark where the acrylic was. Now, I usually don't use the flame bit. I really don't use it that often, but I'm going to use it today because I really need to get into the sinus of the nail. And the sinus of the nail is just those upper corners where it's difficult to get into sometimes. Okay. So again, I'm not touching the nail plate. I'm just lifting the skin that's right in that little pocket right there and barely touching the side walls. I am as non invasive with my drill bits as I can possibly be because it ensures that my nail matrix stays protected by the natural seal that my cuticle and my proximal fold has for me naturally. I'm just doing a little bit of the sidewall, and like I said, the little corners in there on the side, especially if there's any product residue from when I removed the acrylic. So this is what's going to get it out. And now I spray with alcohol just so I can clean it up and see clearly where I'm going to cut my cuticles. Again, I don't want to cut a lot of my cuticle. My nails are very sensitive. They're very dry right now from being in the acetone. So I'm very, very careful, whether this was myself or my client. Honestly, sometimes you don't even have to cut any cuticle at this point because you're doing so much with the acetone already. So for me, I know that I could do it. And you see with the alcohol how quickly the nail dries. If that was water, the nail wouldn't dry there. And you can also see where there's still some product on my nail. But first, I'm going to remove the cuticle. And then I'm also going to go over it with a sanding band later, and that's going to remove the remaining product. This is my steps that I do to ensure that my nails are healthy. And this is a technique that I've developed from just working on so many clients over the past 12 years and also doing trial and error on myself because I always do on my nails anything that I want to try on my clients so I know how it feels before I try it on anybody else. And then you still have to listen to your clients because everybody has a different threshold, everybody has different sensitivities. So now I'm going to be using a sanding band on like a 4 RPM on my drill. And I'm just going to lightly go over the surface of the nail. And now is when I'll finally remove that mark that the previous acrylic left on there. And I'm just removing the little bit of product that's left on my nails as well. So that way I can have a clean slate when I go ahead and do the rubber base. If you want to see a tutorial on the rubber base, leave a comment below and I will go ahead and do a tutorial on that. I'm almost toward the end of the tutorial. So I just want to remind you to please like, share, comment below any questions that you might have. I have linked all my information in the description. I do offer one-on-one classes as well, and you are very much appreciated for checking out my video. Okay, so just to finish off, make sure when you are using the drill that you are holding the nail very sturdy. Use your pinky to stabilize yourself so that you have more control of the drill. And at the end, you want to make sure that after you file off the product, you're spraying with alcohol and you use it as an antiseptic and to get all the dust off so you can get a good look on the work that you did. Now my nails are ready for whatever service I want to continue with at this point. Thanks so much for watching. If you did learn something, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It is greatly appreciated. I am so thankful for each and every one of your support. See you next time.